Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Torie. Thank you for being here. So ever since I got off of my antidepressants, I have been kind of wondering what to do with my channel. And it's been one of those things that I pester my boyfriend or my family about or something, and I'm just like, what do I do with my channel? What do I do with my channel? And so I'm just going to test out kind of talking about random things that I am interested in or that are going on with me right now. I have done a few life update videos in the past and I usually get a pretty good response from those, but I don't want it to be like, you know, life update and then just have like the week that I'm doing the update, because then it's like, oh, well, she's vlogging, but she's not really, you know, So anyway, I'm here with my coffee this morning and I am back on caffeinated coffee because I got off a little Wellbutrin, and so I didn't have like a freaking panic attack if I had coffee. And I really miss coffee. Like, I really enjoy having coffee, and I haven't had any lupus flares from it recently, so I think we're good to go. But I do have my coffee here this morning because I feel like that helps with the chat quality. So one thing that I've been thinking about recently, I did a modeling shoot with somebody a couple weeks ago and she was asking me what I did. And so I was like, well, I work for this nonprofit and that's what I do. And she like asked like, what are you going to use the photos for? Because she's like this really amazing brand photographer here in Charleston, and like her photos are like they're amazing. I was so lucky that I got to do a shoot with her. But she asked me what I was going to use the photos for, and I was just like, well, I wrote a book, so I'll probably use them for my author page on my website. And then she was just like, oh, book, website, cool. And then I was like, and then I also have a YouTube channel where I talk about lupus and depression. And then I also have another YouTube channel where I talk about astrology. And then I also do readings on the side for people if they ever want astrology or tarot readings. And she just said, do you sleep? And I was just like, yeah, no, I'm actually very protective of my sleep, which is funny because I never get when people are like, being sarcastic or saying anything that is not exactly what they mean, which actually reminds me of another story. My boyfriend and I were having like a very serious conversation, and my son walks in and my boyfriend looks at him and goes, do you know how to knock? And my son just goes, yeah. And then he's like, so anyway, what I was gonna say, and it was just a very me thing to do because I tend to answer people like very face value-y. So anyway, she was just like, do you sleep? Like, there's so much that you have going on, so much that you're doing, because I'm still doing modeling shoots sometimes. I'm, got my two YouTube channels I'm doing. I'm a mom and a stepmom. And then I wrote my book and I'm working on another one. And, it's just, there's a lot of stuff that I'm doing. And so it's been something that has been a really big back and forth for me for a lot of years, because my mom and sister really have to slow down. Like, they really have to slow down and recharge, and that is how they feel better. And with me, that doesn't work. Part of that is just, due to my personality. For those of you who do know astrology, I actually have my moon in Aries in the 6th house whole sign and in the 5th house Placidus. So I am like very busy. I have to be creating. Like, it is like vital to my health that I stay busy. And that's just how I'm built. Like, that's how I'm made. And so that was something for a long time that, my family specifically really didn't understand, because, you have to relax and recharge and get back up and running. And so when I had lupus, well, let me go back before that. So when I was working full-time, I dropped out of college to work a job for a couple years and before going back and finishing my degree. And I would be so busy, like just, get up and go to work all day. I was working with kids with autism, and so like it was just a very active job. And then I would go work all day and then come home and just like paint or like work on projects. I was really into baking, like I had a lot of stuff going on. And every single time I had a 3-day weekend, I would get sick, like fever, chills, sick. A lot of times, like, my family would blame it on the fact that I wasn't taking little breaks. I wasn't like slowing down. But if I had something planned over the weekend that I could do, I wouldn't get sick. It was like the weirdest thing. And so I've always kind of known that about myself. Like I like to stay busy. I like to do a lot of things. And like there is nothing that makes me feel worse than like binge watching a show for 8 hours. Like I get depressed. I feel really just gross. Like if I am working on something, like if I'm making like my little felt toys or something like that, love it. I could sit there all day. My boyfriend calls me his little sweatshop just because like I bust those things out. So it's not just the fact that I'm sitting on the couch, it's that I'm not doing anything and not producing anything. And you know, I've been to a few therapists at this point and we've gone over the like, are you doing so much because you need to feel worthy? And that is a very valid question. However, like in recent years, that really hasn't been the case because a lot of the stuff that I do is behind the scenes. Like nobody ever sees it. And I still feel better. Like I feel better about myself. And even if nobody sees it, I never get the recognition or the praise or anything like that, I still feel better. And I don't think it's necessarily tied to self-worth. I think I just know myself and I know that if I stay busy and I do what I like to do, you know, not just stuff for work or not just stuff for the home, like, you know, I really do feel terrible if I get my house super clean and then cook and everything, but I don't get to work on anything creative or like anything that I wanted to do that day. Same thing for work. If I'm like working morning until night and I don't get to see the kids that day because, you know, it's both of our exes have them that day or something like that. I really do feel like I didn't do much that day, even though I did like a million things for work. Just the fact that it was for somebody else and not for me, like I really didn't get that feeling of joy and accomplishment and all those things that I really thrive on. So since I did get off my medication earlier this year, I was on Wellbutrin for a couple years and it was amazing. If I ever have to go back on medication, I'm getting right back on Wellbutrin because it was perfect for me. And since getting off of that, I have had like kind of ups and downs. It's been mostly ups. Like I've been really good off of medication, but I definitely have had times where I just have like really intense anxiety or just feel kind of flat, like, you know, depression adjacent. Like it might not be actual depression, but just like, you know, I don't feel like doing anything. I don't feel like being anything that day. So yesterday, I actually had a really hard time. I had like a really anxious moment the day before, but then, you know, I kind of got doing stuff and it kind of went away. And then yesterday morning, I woke up and I was like, there was no joy in my future. I was like absolutely terrified to get out of bed. I didn't even want to put on clothes because I was just like, this is terrible. Like it's already a terrible day. I have nothing to look forward to in life. Like everything is just going to be black from here on out. And for those of you who have struggled with anxiety and depression, you know the feeling, and it's not as melodramatic as it sounds because you just kind of like get through it and you push through it, but it feels very awful when you get it. And so yesterday I got that really bad in the morning and it was like 6:30 a.m. And I know myself, and I know that if I just get busy, it'll go away. And I just want to take a quick pause here and be like, you know, busying away your issues is probably not the answer for everybody. Like you really need to, you know, do the work, go to therapy, like work through everything. But yesterday, it was literally like it wasn't anything specific. It was just the feeling. It was just anxious about everything. There was no hope. I wasn't excited about anything. So I actually worked on this video for my other YouTube channel, and it was actually a tutorial for how to find a yod in a birth chart. And there's like some math involved, and I like got really into it. 3 hours later, literally 3 hours of working on this video, I was in bed still. I had like my little microphone where I was doing the voiceover and everything. And I felt so much better. Like I really did. And so, you know, like for me, just resting would have made me so much worse. Or if I had just tried to like relax and take my mind off of it with maybe a show or a movie or something, like that would have made the feeling so much worse and it probably would have prolonged it. But as it stood, I got out of it like probably within like 5 hours. because, you know, before my son came home and then my boyfriend came home from work, I was fine. Like, I was cleaning the kitchen. I had, like, you know, dinner all planned out, what I wanted to do there. I had already uploaded a few videos. Like, I was just like feeling really myself again. And so it's like, you know, a lot of people, they're like, you gotta rest, you gotta relax, you gotta recharge. It's like, I recharge by doing things, by being creative, by pushing myself to do other things. So I guess I'm just telling you guys this because I think it's really important to know yourself and to give yourself permission to be yourself. And, you know, if you are not the type of person who relaxes to recharge, you like do stuff to recharge, that's okay. And I feel ya, and I'm right there with you. And that's why I have so many projects going on, is because like they really do make me feel better. And I really feel like I'm doing something, not doing something that's just going to get swept away at the end of the day, but actually doing something that I can keep, something that I can really hold on to and say, yes, I did this. And it was kind of funny too, just because when I did get diagnosed with lupus, they were like, you can't lay around all the time. You have to exercise. You have to make sure that you're moving and doing things. Otherwise, your lupus is going to get so bad, you'll wind up in the hospital again. And so I was like, huh, on some intuitive level, I always knew that. And so that also gives me permission to do that. And I don't sacrifice anything by staying busy. Like, I try to work out every day. I usually work out, you know, 3 to 5 days a week just because I try every day, which means it doesn't always happen. I'm also very protective of my sleep. Like, I make sure that I get good chunks of sleep every single night. I usually don't stay up past 10 at the latest. Like, usually I'm in bed in between like 9 and 9:45. I make sure I do my journaling and that I'm spiritually healthy. I make all my own meals. Like, I really do a lot of stuff that I don't sacrifice for all the creative stuff that I really want to do as well. So here's to you guys. Have a happy day. And if you guys do have anything you want me to talk about, please let me know, because I don't like talking about lupus and depression all the time, and that's kind of how this channel started, and so I don't really know where to go from here. But I really love doing videos, and I love the feedback I get, and so I'm just really grateful that you guys are still here if you're watching this. And so yeah, if you have anything you want me to talk about, let me know, and I will try. All right, y'all. Have a good one.